Referred to Saturn as Helios, the sun god. Satanism is Saturnism. Satanists worship the goat. The god himself is a symbol of Saturn because this planet is enthroned in Capricorn, whose emblem is a goat. And you see them on Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Baroness Philippine de Rothschild. This is called the magic square of Saturn, 666. This is the sigil of Saturn, the most obvious symbol of Freemasonry. Balmoral, the Scottish home of the royal family, the sigil of Saturn. This is an ancient symbol of Saturn. They then took it and put it on their fiefdom of Israel, the symbol of the Soviet Union, the symbol of Saturn, the hammer and the sickle. This is a permanent hexagon in the North Pole of Saturn. He's also the six-pointed star, and he's also the cube. The Kaaba is a symbol of Saturn. The black cube that Jewish people put on their third eye as part of their ritual is Saturn. So all these symbols are all representations of the frequency of Saturn. That's the matrix that's playing us.
I wondered why, if you minus all of the numbers on a clock, it adds up to 6? Well, here's why. 6 is the number of time, space, and matter. It represents the three-dimensional material world. Up, down, left, right, backwards, and forward. It's a six-sided cube. 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute, 24 hours in a day, 2 plus 4 equals 6. That's 666 in total. Which is why you see black cubes everywhere you go, or the Nintendo GameCube. Jesus' cross is a cube unfolded. Jews wear a cube on top of their heads, and there's a reason why we say think outside the box. This is where it gets a bit crazy. 666 is the exact same structure of carbon, and your body's made out of carbon. The body is the mark of the beast, the mark of the three-dimensional material world. When the Bible says Satan, who's the god of this world, it represents Saturn, which is the god of time. Everything dies in time, therefore time is the god of this world. It rules this world. Everything physical began as a thought in the mind. The physical world is a shadow or an effect of thought. Therefore, your physical body is stuck in time, but your mind is outside of time. This is why your mind can go in the past and the future, but your body cannot. Thinking outside the box is a term referring to thinking outside of the physical plane, which is activating the light bodies, the eternal self, also known as astral projection. What I'm saying is your body is nothing. You are not your body. You are the eternal consciousness, which is not bound by the physical plane. You just have to awaken these other bodies. 666 is you, the beast, when you're in your lower nature. God is the higher mind, which is the divine spark within you. Jesus.
Table. Ed, I want to bring your attention to a social media post quite separate from the many rhetorical flourishes the president left behind at the United Nations General Assembly. It reads as follows. Control room. I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and, all caps, win all of Ukraine back in its original form. That may be the biggest thing he said all day.
And probably the biggest thing he said, frankly, in weeks, because it is a huge strategic shift now, if this is what he
really believes, and his policy will sort of move in this direction.
Absolutely, and if it does move in that direction, big if, because it's only Tuesday, and he just happened to come out of a meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky right before he typed it, or right after he typed this. You know, it suggests now he's finally understood what the rest of the world's been trying to tell him, except for Russia and a handful of others. And what's telling about this whole lengthy statement in Truth Social is he says, after getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, which means it took him 9 months to get up to speed on this and essentially return U.S. policy to what it had been, which is that Ukraine shouldn't have to give an inch, Russia should back off, and we will stand with Ukraine. And by then saying this morning, go ahead and blow Russian jets out of the sky if they violate NATO airspace, that completely redefines his approach to this war at this point, and must have the Europeans just thrilled and relieved.
And does suggest that this long-promised serious consideration of sanctions against Russia, in addition to the ones that already exist, may become more operational.
Which is why I'm saying it's only Tuesday.
Right.
Because by the time
you have
Congress...
to hedge those conversations.
Right, because by the time Congress gets back, something will have happened. Remember now, he's got on the table an offer from the Russian president to extend the New START nuclear safety treaty, in essence, for another year, which means there's going to be engagement at some point soon between the U.S. and Russia again. What else will happen in that conversation that perhaps pulls him back from this? But that he went to New York and says this on the world stage after meeting with Zelensky again certainly is going to be seen as encouraging to a lot of allies who've been wanting him to get closer to this position.
And if, in fact, this is the position of the Trump administration, that Ukraine can win and get all of its original form, that would go even before what happened in the Obama administration in Crimea.
And you would think there's incentive for Trump to push for that, because then he can say, not only did I clean up Biden's mess, but I cleaned up the mess that started under Obama. And look what I was able to do, but restore Ukraine to what it was before those two Democratic presidents. So that might be part of why he's suggesting now all of it. But again, it's only Tuesday.
Vladimir Putin, call your office.
Yeah.
Things are changing over at the Department of Defense. Today, President Trump signed an executive order changing the name to the Department of War. Signage already going up at the Pentagon in Washington. You'll see someone hanging a new sign for Pete Hegseth's office that now says Secretary of War. So actually, the department once upon a time did hold this name originally from 1789 until President Truman changed it to the National Military Establishment in 1947, and then it became the Department of Defense in 1949.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of senior military officers to Virginia for an urgent meeting. The Pentagon has provided very little detail about this meeting, but CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett tells us it's a rare event, if not unprecedented move.
CBS News has learned that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed numerous generals and admirals, as well as some of their staff from around the world, to come to the Marine base at Quantico, Virginia next week. I can tell you that a meeting of that size on such short notice is extremely rare, if not unprecedented. So there are roughly 800 generals and admirals across the armed services. It's not clear how many have been summoned to come to this meeting or even why. But there are many that are currently stationed in active war zone regions in places like the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. There are also questions as to why the secretary is having this in person rather than a secured video conference, as was usually done in the past. Aside from the obvious security risks of having all that top brass in one place at one time, it's going to cost a lot of money to fly them in from all over the world. Hegseth has already ordered a 20% reduction in four-star officers. He's ordered it. It hasn't happened. He's already fired more than a dozen high-ranking military leaders. One retired general told CBS News he may use the meeting to announce further cuts. Back to you.
Listen up. They just pulled a move that feels like it's straight out of a frickin' war movie. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has officially ordered every single general and admiral in the U.S. military, from brigadier general on up, to report to Quantico. That's hundreds of America's top brass being told to drop everything that they're doing and convene in one place with no explanation to the public. When you recall all the stars at once, it's not for coffee and donuts. It's because something massive is on the horizon. And the fact that Quantico is the gathering point, man, that's the Marine Corps nerve center, the place where they plan and sharpen the edge of war-fighting strategies. This is the kind of move that sends shockwaves through the entire defense world. Generals don't get pulled from command across the globe unless there is a serious shift underway. It could be preparing for a new doctrine, a crisis that's closer than they're letting us in on, or a rollout of something that the public isn't quite ready for yet. Either way, the order is real, it's happening, and it's a sign that the pieces on the global chessboard are being moved behind the closed doors. So when the stars gather at Quantico, bet your ass history is about to fucking pivot.
Сделаем все, чтобы обеспечить безопасные условия для проведения референдумов. Для того, чтобы люди могли выразить свою волю. И то решение о своем будущем, которое примет большинство жителей Донецкой и Луганской народных республик, Запорожской и Херсонской областей, мы поддержим. В своей агрессивной антироссийской политике Запад перешел всякую грань. Мы постоянно слышим угрозы в адрес нашей страны, нашего народа. Некоторые безответственные политики на Западе не только говорят о планах по организации поставок в Украине дальнобойных наступательных вооружений, систем, которые позволят наносить удары по Крыму, другим регионам России. Такие террористические удары, в том числе и с использованием западного оружия, уже наносятся по приграничным населенным пунктам Белгородской и Курской областей. В ход пошел и ядерный шантаж. Речь идет не только о поощряемых Западом обстрелах Запорожской атомной электростанции, что грозит атомной катастрофой, но и о высказываниях некоторых высокопоставленных представителей ведущих государств НАТО о возможности и допустимости применения против России оружия массового поражения, ядерного оружия. Тем, кто позволяет себе такие заявления в отношении России, хочу напомнить, что наша страна также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у стран НАТО. И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф. А те, кто пытаются шантажировать нас ядерным оружием, должны знать, что роза ветров может развернуться и в их.
Remy has trained most of their officer corps. He's nearly a legend in the submarine community.
The most deadly submarine ever built.
This thing could park a couple of hundred warheads off Washington. Nobody'd know a thing about it until it was all over.
And once more, we play our dangerous game with our old adversaries, the American Navy.
His plan is a mystery.
A man with your responsibilities reading about the end of the world.
Apparently he has suffered a kind of nervous breakdown in which he announced his intention to fire his missiles on the United States.
He wants us to help you hunt him down, kill him.
Open the outer doors, firing point procedures. We sail into history.
I'm gonna blow him right to Mars.
Ramius might be trying to defect.
You're just an analyst. What can you possibly know what goes on in his mind?
I'll give you 3 days to prove your theory correct.
I am not field personnel. I am only an analyst.
You're perfect.
I'm expendable.
He's defecting. You willing to bet your life on that? From the best-selling novel by Tom Clancy. From the director of Die Hard.
Give this man a chance.
My orders are specific.
Battle stations. Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, James Earl Jones, Scott Glenn, Sam Neill. The Hunt for Red October.
In 1 week's time, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
A tyrant who enslaved a nation.
He will destroy us one by one.
Tomorrow my victory is complete.
A warrior who would become their only hope.
I know the prophecy. I have seen it.
They are the last of their kind. Skilled assassins, trained for generations in the deadly arts.
Will you stand alone before the fury of his armies?
Yes.
Take a breath. Take a dozen of your best men. Track him down. Kill him.